Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fuck with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers dropping songs, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoes, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas key. You with me, sheesh. But need OG Keith.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Yeah, head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up from my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen them down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for the raise. Got a mill, now they coming with a blaze. Check the numbers, fam, I swear I'm getting paid. I'm a Don just like the Perrier. It's one time when I'm looking at a face. On the low like I'm pushing up the bass. come down and I'll meet them at a gate. Got a check and I bought myself a place. They get some money and they blow it on bait. I don't flex, but I'm pushing all the weight. Told them all, I swear I got it's what it takes. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, man, we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Bitcoin, oh God, is she going to break out? Is she going to put in a macro lower high for a bigger dump to the downside? Guys, we're going to be talking about the key level of support that we need to hold while I try to fix this dang hat. Didn't even do anything. But we're going to be talking about the key level of support, guys. If we do get some kind of a cool off here, there is a level of support that, if held, would likely call for a continuation of this uptrend, guys. And I'm not going to lie. Based off what we're seeing on the charts right now, it does look pretty good that the bottom could be in at that sweep of $100,000, guys. And I want to talk about exactly what I'm looking for, not only on the higher time frames, but also on the lower time frames for if we do get a pullback. You don't want to get too scared right now because we do have that key level of support that, if held, I think a lot of you guys are probably going to know what that level is. But we're going to cover that with you. We'll cover the next targets to the upside, the next key levels of resistance. And then we'll talk, maybe we'll even talk about some upper targets. I don't want to get like too crazy FOMO bullish here. But as always, we'll cover the bullish case. We'll cover the bearish case. But I will say, guys, those bullish puzzle pieces are starting to outweigh the bearish ones. Shout out to Eric C. says, retire me. Shout out to Eric C. What is going on, bro? Just straight up. Hey, bro, retire me. Shout out to Eric C. Let's see. We got Nordic in the chat. Said, Frankie, do your thing and bring Biddy down. we'll take a look, right? Obviously, hopefully we don't have to bring Biddy down, but there is going to be a case here for a potential move to the downside. But again, as of right now, guys, I'm going to talk about why I actually like the low here at about $98,200. I'm going to talk about why I like this low and what we're going to be looking at for a continuation up. We'll talk about the warning signs ahead and what we need to see to break out to new all-time highs. And if we do get a local correction, like I said, there is a very, very key level that we want to hold. But let's see. I actually get to catch a whole live show for one. Shout out to Gen X DGen. Welcome in. We got Rob the Crypto Snob, Darren Does Things, Crypto Billy, Tyler Durden. You guys know who the mods are. Show them some love in the chat. We got Giga Longbottom. What is going on? Said, Frankie, how is it that all the charts look identical? Shout out to Giga Longbottom. Well, we'll take a look at that, bro. Shout out to Giga Longbottom. We got Servando Estrada in the chat. Said, he's here, Frankie. Shout out to Servando. Welcome in. We got the King of Bitcoin. Said, let's speak some facts, Frankie. Let's go. Shout out to King of Bitcoin. Only honest TA here. I can't really say they're guaranteed facts, but hey, we are right way more than we're wrong. We caught the short, and now we're looking for that potential breakout. So shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button. If we get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream, I will give away $150 in Solana to somebody on Friday's live stream, and we're also going to be giving away Cardano to 10 other CandleMafia members. So shout out to everybody in here. Smash that like button up. I've been kind of sleeping on saying smash that like button, guys, so hit it, because this is probably the only time I'm going to say it during the stream. But without further ado, shout out to Jesse. He's our like police. He said, we're ready, brother. Shout out to Jesse. Let's go. So, Jesse, if Jesse asks you to hit that like button, guys, please, for the love of God, do it. Push us out into that algorithm and turn the CandleMafia into an even more unstoppable force than we already are. So, without further ado, let's go ahead. Shout out to Coin Hoover and Jay Violet and Nando Pancho. Let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. Let's see. Key level to hold, $1. Shout out to Ando Pancho. I don't know how you front ran me on that, but yes, guys, we must hold above $1 in order to continue this bullish trend on Bitcoin. I'm just kidding. I'll say that number does start with a 1, but it is not 1. Shout out to Ando Pancho. We got the Aztecian Cactus Orca water here, guys. Shout out to Orca. Not paid, not sponsored. But this stuff is pretty good, I'm not going to lie. Second stream using this. Woohoo, baby, it's good. All right, let's continue on here. So, taking a look at the chart here, guys. As you guys know from last night's live stream, we are bing-bonging around this volume profile. Not looking too bad. Not looking too bad, guys. We got that dip down to the $100,000 level. Obviously, I do just kind of want to go back here, talk about what we saw happen as we were expecting the high, the low, the lower high, and that lower low to come to crack this wick here at about $100,370 to come into our key level of support, our first key level of support, sitting between about $100,000 and $98,695. We came on down there. We tapped that anchored VWAP from the bottom of the downtrend, which is an absolute massive key level of support if we want to continue this overall massive trend to the upside. And actually, honorable mention, I talked about this recently on a stream. Not only was this the anchored VWAP from the low, but also our daily smart trail here on Lux Algo, which does typically give us a decent bit of support, even if you have to push down to the actual bottom of that ribbon, right? We come down, we get the push down to the bottom of that ribbon. You can see we bounce right off that daily smart trail. And again, that anchored VWAP being an extremely key level of support, guys, to continue that uptrend. As long as we stay above here, the trend can continue to the upside. And this is not the key level that we have to remain above, although remaining above that anchored VWAP would be key. But there is another level that I'm looking at a little bit more locally that's going to be important to stay above. But yesterday, guys, or over the weekend, we got the drop into the golden pocket. And then as we were getting that push to the upside, we were looking at that value area low. This was not happening during the live stream, but in the Discord earlier during the day, we were getting that push up here. We got actually a perfect pullback here, and I was talking about this yesterday as well. We got that perfect pullback here to not only back to the anchored VWAP when we got that news, we got that kind of dump to the downside. We tapped that anchored VWAP almost like physically to the dollar, right? Like literally to the penny almost. But this was also obviously the full golden pocket retracement of the current trend that we were looking at from the low to the high. We came down, tapped that anchored VWAP, tapped that golden pocket. We put in the higher low, and then we got that break above the value area low. And this was that key level we wanted to get above to show us that first indication that we were going to get a continuation to the upside, next targeting the point of control, which has actually moved down a bit here, I believe. Let me actually pull this. This actually has moved slightly because I have extended the profile a little bit, but As we get that push above the value area low, you're going to anticipate to get into that POC, which I believe was sitting up here. We also have the golden pocket up here as well. I'll pull up those key levels in a second, or those local levels in a second. But at this point, guys, breaking above this value area low, I mean, this is the doorway to higher prices. And shout out to, I forget who said it during the premium live stream. They were saying, is doorway 2 words or 1 word? And I realize I do draw that or write that completely incorrect, but that's okay. We're going to keep it that way. But we break above that value area low. This is the doorway to higher prices, guys. After we get inside that value area low, we're going to be looking up towards that POC, and then eventually we can potentially target that value area high sitting here at about $108,000. Now, we are pushing up against some local resistance. Let me see if I can pull that up, right? So we do have the golden pocket here. I believe there is a daily level there as well. So we are currently pushing into local resistance, right? So it's not possible to get little pullbacks here, and when we take a look at market cipher B, you'll see in a second that it might not be impossible to get some kind of a pullback, right? Not bearish, right? Not necessarily bearish, but, you know, the chart's moving ebbs and flows, right? Obviously. So we are pushing resistance. Hopefully, we can just smash right through this. But the 2 biggest key levels of resistance on the chart for me personally right now are going to be this golden pocket daily zone sitting between, we'll call it 106,779 all the way down to about 105,918. That is the golden pocket retracement. And why is this such a key zone, guys? Well, it's the same way we were able to short the top here, which I have been, I stopped myself out of that position in profit. But same thing we were looking at here on for the short position above the value area high, right? We get the 786 retracement to come in, took that short position right before the live stream, I guess on Monday, and then we wound up getting that dump to the downside, and we came down to make that new lower low, which is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful move there of about, let's see here, bada boom, come on, give me that dang measure tool. Nice little 9, almost 10% move to the downside. And now we've gotten that beautiful bounce off our key level of support at $100,000 for a nice 8% move to the upside. So the key level of resistance right now is that 106,779 level all the way down to 105,918. If we're able, right, again, I would not be surprised if you do get some kind of turbulence here. And I want to talk about the liquidity because we do have some liquidity sitting up here as well. But, you know, if we do get a rejection here, we actually already did confirm some bearish divergences here. And they really didn't want to push us down here, right? We had the higher highs on our price action, lower highs on our momentum waves, and we get a little bit of a dip, and then we just continue to press to the upside. If I pull up the, let me see if I can pull up that liquidation heat map really quickly. If we look at this, you guys can see we do have some liquidity sitting here right above that high at about 641 all the way up to, you know, technically the end of that zone brings us up to about $108,000, right? So it is literally sitting above this high, right, all the way up into that value area high / 786 zone. And let me actually delete that other golden pocket, 786, right? So that next level is going to be, you know, golden pocket 786. If we're going to put in a lower high and continue this downtrend, guys, one other thing I'm looking at is this trend line, right? This trend line is, you know, I'm not a big trend line trader, but obviously, you know, these can give you some pretty good areas, right? If we want to continue this downtrend, you do want to start to be very, very careful between if we get up to that value area high, deviate above, right? If we cannot hold that 786, we talked about this yesterday, very similar to the 786 we approached up here. It was like, well, hey, if we can get above that and close the weekly candle above there, we could break into new all-time highs. But at the same time, we have to be very careful because if you wind up rejecting that 786, you know, you might be able to get that correction to the downside, indicating that you would come take this low down here. And that is exactly what happened. It's going to be very similar up here, guys. If we do get the push to the upside, which I do feel pretty good about happening at some point, even if we get a correction first. But if we do push up there between the golden pocket and the 786, is locally going to be the place to look for a potential lower high for another lower low to come, continuing that overall downtrend. And if we do get that, right, we could be aware of potential support to the downside that we could put in higher lows and continue the trend. But at the end of the day, this is why I want to talk about that really, really, really key level that we must hold in order to call for a continuation of that trend, right? So we're coming up to resistance. We can get pullbacks, right? Something like this would not be bad. Even something like this might not be that bad. And if we come up to that 786, just understand, you know, liquidity sitting above here. If I mark this out with a box, it's pretty much up to about literally like that 786 almost perfectly, right? So we do have that liquidity sitting here. So let me just mark that off on the chart. And we all know that liquidity does like to act as a magnet for price. So once we wind up pushing into these stop losses, right, these shorts could potentially get stopped out or liquidated, which does create market buy orders, which could potentially push price to the upside, giving us two opportunities, right? Number one, you could just squeeze into that next level of resistance. However, it also gives an opportunity to just sweep out that liquidity and get some kind of a rejection. Now, would that instantly make me think that 97K is incoming? Not necessarily, because we do have that key level of support below, which I'm going to go over right now. overall, we're above the value area low right now, floating above that POC. If we could stay above that point of control, we can eventually anticipate the fulfill of this range. But if we do get any pullbacks, guys, whether it comes from the golden pocket or the 786, again, these are the biggest levels of resistance. But biggest levels of support right now are going to be the POC right now sitting at about $104,000. But the biggest level of support here is going to be the value area low. Not only do we have the value area low here, we also have the golden pocket. You guys can see, as I just mentioned in the beginning of the stream, pulled from the low to the local high that we made here. We came down, put the higher low on that golden pocket, which is not to be, surprising, right? Because when you're looking for those higher lows and higher highs, that golden pocket 786 is the area to look for it at, right? And if we do come back down, right, I'm just going to pull that Fibonacci retracement from the higher low into the current high, right, which sits right here. And that does give you golden pocket confluence on the value area low. We also have the 786, so you could actually technically drag this zone down to the 786. And inside there, we also have some daily MPOCs sitting right in there as well. These are pulled from exo charts. So even if we did get some kind of a bigger correction, I can't guarantee that we're going to come down from the golden pocket down there. But if we were to see that, right, this is 100% the biggest key level. This was the biggest key level on the way up to indicate more upside. So if we come down there, you could hold that golden pocket 786 again for a higher low and a potential break of structure to the upside. However, if we start losing this value area, guys, especially if we, we have no choice, right? Whether it comes from the golden pocket or the 786, you start to think, well, hey, that's an area where you could put a lower high in to potentially expect a lower low. But the one thing that can save us from putting in that lower low is going to be this zone. This sits between $102,265 all the way down to about $101,000 at that 786. Typically, I look at these as two separate zones. I'll look at the golden pocket daily MPOC value area low, and then I would usually separate it, between this and then that. You could totally look at this as one big zone depending on your preference, but that entire zone sits between 101K and about 102.2, right? Once we start losing that level, right, we start losing that 786, this could indicate that maybe we are indeed putting in a lower high before finally, if this happens. Right now, I'm not going to lie, guys, I do feel pretty good about the low being in. However, and again, the reason for that is the anchored VWAP, on top of the fact that we did yesterday get the 2-day money flow to give us a nice little tick back to the upside. This money flow is very, very important because we've talked about this many a times in the past. When we take a look at our higher time frame chart here, the 2-day money flows have very, very often indicated, or throughout this entire bull market, the 2-day money flows indicated the next leg to the upside. You get a move up, consolidation, you get a little bit of a dump, get back above the bull market support band, 2-day money flow crossover. Same thing happens here, 2-day money flow crossover, right? And these were all accompanied by monthly green dots. We have a very, 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 very similar situation setting up here. And I'm not going to lie, guys, even some of these higher time frame candles look pretty nice with the long wick on the bottom. These are, it's not necessarily a bullish hammer candle perfectly, but this is typically a nice sign, right? And we even talk about this like a long time ago, right? You get the consolidation, you wick out the longs, and then you send it to the upside. You get the consolidation, right? Maybe we got this nice little wick down here to wash out the longs and then send it to the upside. And with that 2-day money flow crossover and our Heikinashi monthly green dot printing here, as we've shown many a times, this is the condition that has been met almost every time we get another leg to the upside, right? Does this guarantee that we're going to see that next leg to the upside? Not necessarily. You can see here we had the right here we had a, let me zoom in here on Market Cipher B, monthly green dot prints right here. You can barely see it because it's covered by the money flow. Monthly green dot. This was at the same time as that 2-day money flow. Massive rip into the 2021 bull market. And then all throughout this bull market, almost every monthly green dot has indicated that next leg up, right? You can barely see it here. Monthly green dot. Monthly green dot, monthly green dot, right? 2-day money flow crossover, and even this one, right? Monthly green dot, 2-day money flow crossover, big leg up. Monthly green dot, 2-day money flow crossover, big leg up, consolidation, monthly green dot, 2-day money flow crossover, big leg up. We are very much in that same situation. And looking at the chart yesterday, seeing the 2-day money flow, getting that nice kickback to the upside because this was coming out aggressively. This is one of the things that we needed to indicate that we are going to continue to the upside in a long-term fashion, right? So this is very, very nice to see. Fresh 2-day green dot printing. And again, we came down finally to that support level of $100,000. We had previously front ran this, right? We swept out this wick right here, front ran the key key level of support. We got the bounce, but what happened? Lower high, lower low to come. Exactly what we expected. And now we have finally tapped into that anchored VWAP. So this looks pretty good at this moment, in my opinion. The only thing in my that would change that for me is if we wind up getting the lower high to come in, right? And a rejection is fine. We might not know this is going to be a lower high depending on where it comes in. We don't know if this is a lower high until we wind up losing this level. So it's going to be a little bit of a difficult situation, but 100%, this is the biggest key level of support, right? Once you wind up losing that, I'm going to be expecting to take the low, where our next major key level of support is sitting at that $97,000 macro POC, right? It's almost the same exact situation we look for to come down to 100K. Hey guys, we can break out here, but if we put the lower high in and a big rejection, right, the lower low is going to be more likely, right? So we come up here. We have to hold this value area low. If we lose it, I'm going to be looking down towards 97K. But right now, to be quite honest, it looks pretty good. Short term, could we get a pullback? Maybe, right? Based off the 4-hour red dot looking to come in here, right? Red dot prints on the 4-hour. This could give us some kind of an ebb or flow to the downside. Red and green dots indicate the ups and downs, right? The ebbs and the flows, right? The money flow indicates the overall trend. And the good news here is even if we do get that red dot, it would make a lot of sense to maybe just get a small cool off before another higher high to come based off the money flow here crossing into the green, right? We got a nice little dip into the red on that last dump, and now we're crossing back into the green, which is exactly what we want to see. Oftentimes, guys, when we're looking for dumps, right, we're saying, well, hey, if you want to see a big breakout into new all-time highs, what do you want to see? You want to see money flow coming up, right? You want to see money flow crossing into the green, not crossing into the red. But right now we have it crossing into the green, which would be good for the overall continuation, even if we have to get a pullback at the golden pocket. Maybe it comes into the POC. We don't know exactly where you hold support, but the POC at 104K is your first big level, and then that second big level is sitting between $102,250 and $101,000. Lose that. That is where we open up the door potentially to come back down to $97,000. But until that happens, guys, things look good. Now, one other thing to understand here, guys, is the geopolitical situation is absolutely insane right now. It's like you get the ceasefire news, and then it's like, maybe it's not a ceasefire, right? So be aware. These news events do obviously move the market. I say this almost every single stream. Show me the charts, I'll tell you the news almost every single time. I feel a lot better about this low than I did about this low, especially, as we were coming down here, it was very likely to put that lower low in. But right now, just understand, right? Like, will the signs be on the chart? Like, will we get some kind of bearish confirmation up here if we're going to get a pullback? Yes. But on that way down, right? Same thing with the short position up here that we took in the premium. It's like, hey, we shorted off the technical signals, but all of a sudden, right after that, we get the bearish news to kind of fill in the gap, right? We did not know that news was going to come in. We shorted off the technical signals, and then the news wound up kind of filling in the blanks here, right? And then all of a sudden, right, we come down to our key level of support. We reclaim value area low. Then we get the bullish news, and it comes up, right? Again, the chart giving you the bullish signals at 100K, and then I think that news happened like pretty much on the live stream, I believe, somewhere in here where we continue that move to the upside. So again, like up here, you get the news. The news comes in early off the technicals. You're able to predict that move. The news fills in the blank, gives you the dump. You come into key level of support, bullish confirmations, you get the move up, supported by the bullish news. So does that mean that if we look bullish and you get bearish news, it can't dump? Obviously, that can happen. But more often than not, if we get those bearish signals up here, I'll be shorting it based off the chart, right? And then maybe something bearish happens as far as the news goes, and then we lose that low. But right now, I feel pretty good. Same thing as yesterday. Cautiously optimistic. Any pullback, higher low, higher high, until we lose this zone. That is where I'm calling for a potential visit of $97,000 and potentially below. But we'll cover those lower levels when they become a little bit more relevant. And then again, you could just keep this trend line on your chart. It would make a lot of sense, too, if the lower high came in here, right? Just like, with these major trends, guys, at the end of the day, it's like, well, hey, if we get above this level, right, you're breaking above your 786, and then you break out of your trend line, and it's like, well, hey, might be able to get that breakout, right? Potentially targeting. We do have some other resistance up there, right? We have a couple daily MPOCs, a daily horizontal, but at the end of the day, breaking above that macro 786. Something else to be aware of is if you pull this all the way to the absolute all-time high here, guys, that the bigger 786 is still sitting up here at about $109,000 near this daily MPOC. I'm going to keep looking at the more local retracement level because that daily MPOC is kind of already in that spot where the 786 is. So, could we potentially come up, get a little fake out of the trend line, and then get back into the range and back down to the low? Potentially, right? But we're going to use this volume profile as our guide. We flip that value area low. We look for the POC and potentially the high. It looks like we may be on our way there, separate from any kind of short-term pullback. But yeah, I'm not going to lie, guys. Things do look pretty decent. 4-hour money flow crossing into the green. 8-hour money flow trying to cross back into the green as well. This has been pretty choppy here. this one's a little harder to like take something away from just because it's been so choppy, but at the end of the day, this is crossing over into the green, and then even our 10-hour money flow crossing into the green as well is looking to shape up a little better, because one of the things that we looked at yesterday that we're going to need to happen here, guys, to, 16 and 12-hour money flow still in the red. Right? So if we do get a pullback, right, like don't get it twisted. There is a possibility, right? If we do come back down and we don't hold this as support, right, money flow is still technically in the red here on the 16-hour. If this stays in the red, the overall continuation of that trend could still be to the downside. But we are praying and hoping for this to fake out back into the green. And with the 8-hour and the 10-hour starting to cross into the green, that may be giving us an early warning sign that maybe the 12 and 16-hour are to follow. But we're going to have to let price action develop here. It's very hard to call fake outs on Market Cipher B. Sometimes they're a little easier to call. We've called fake outs on Market Cipher B before. Back here, we actually were talking about the daily money flow, right? Getting a fake out here. This was, in my opinion, a lot more likely based off of where we were in the cycle. It just would have not made a lot of sense to just get some kind of like huge, massive correction so early in the cycle, in my opinion. So it's not the same situation though, right? So it's a little harder to call that fake out, but that is what we need, right? Technically, your daily money flow is, has a possibility of putting in a lower high and coming into the red. So it's not that we're completely out of the woods, but right now I do feel pretty good based off of what I just explained to you guys. We just have to be very, very careful between this golden pocket 786 value area high. If we can't get above that trend line, sure, we could still look for the higher lows, right? Maybe come down, bounce off the POC value area low area zone, but we'll figure that out as price action develops, right? But I would say right now things are looking good. We're within our profile until we lose this value area low. I am not expecting 97K. If we break down there, things change. We could look for that if we wind up breaking down below that 786. But I will definitely be looking for longs with the premium Discord at these zones, guys. Very, 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 very key. And I'm not gonna lie. There has been rumors of early rate cuts. It's as good. My guess is as good as anyone else's, whether that happens or not. But even so, right? If we don't get them in July, maybe they happen in September. That was another time where people are expecting it as well. But it just does seem that the timing is starting to come up beautifully for a potential rate cut to come in, and the last phase of the bull market to come in for one more all-time high. Finally, see the altcoins pop off. But again, be very careful, guys, because this is not the beginning of the Bitcoin bull run. As I've said many a times, I think a lot of people think this bull market is just getting started. We have been in a bull market for quite some time. It's usually the end of the cycle where you start to see the alts rip up. It's like the most exciting time of the bull market. But just remember, this is not like, oh my God, we're going to $1 million, in my opinion, right? If there are signs for that on the chart at some point, I will call for it. But just be very, very careful. I will cover some of the upper targets in case we do get a bigger breakout here. I do want you guys to be aware of these upper targets. For me personally, the next major target will be really what I like to look at are the Fibonacci extension levels. So if we pull from the high of this range, we could pull it, originally this was the targets that we were looking at between $14 and to about $20,000. That $120,000 level is kind of psychological. So I would kind of mark out if we do wind up breaking the high and coming into a new all-time high, between about 115 and 120K would be the next major zone to look at. And then, longer term, you could start looking up towards about $130,000 to $137,000. Now, is that going to be the all-time high? I don't know, right? I am not going to just immediately say if we break out, we're going to $200,000. There is definitely resistance above. And if everyone starts calling for $200,000, you have to understand every time there is a well-known, common, popular target that everyone is looking at, it typically falls short, right? 100K this cycle. I don't really remember what it was in 2017, but, this is when you start to get that big breakout. This is where people say it's never going back down. 500K incoming, $1 million incoming. This is very, very, very oftentimes a sign that the top is getting closer, right? But we'll analyze price, right? If we get up to 137K and it looks like a big breakout to 150 is likely, we will likely have the signs on the chart. If it's looking bearish, we'll likely have those signs as well. And, don't forget, we are very much getting a similar kind of formation as the 2021 top. So don't forget that. Weekly bear div is still confirmed. But right now, I do feel pretty good locally. We just got to be careful of those key levels of resistance. So let me come on into chat really quickly. We got David Brumbelow in the chat. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Let's see. He says, I do not see Jerome having any kind of rate cut this year. He wants to go out next year as a Fed hero. He is very hawkish. I don't think he has any intention of cutting rates unless forced to do so. Shout out to David. Yeah, and in that case, right, if he does not cut rates, obviously this will eventually, this is going to kind of step on the alt season. It's going to step on a new all-time high incoming probably. So yeah, if that does happen, not the best case, right? But if we do see them come in, it would just be very, very eerily on time. Shout out to David Brumbelow. He says, "Hola, Frankie." Shout out to you, man. Welcome in. Always happy to have you in here. David Brumbelow, 100% not financial advice. Shout out to David Brumbelow. Let's see. Shout out to the King of Bitcoin. Said, "You're not scared to pull your fib in public?" Shout out to the King of Bitcoin. I learned my lesson pulling fibs in public. I was in the grocery store, whipped out my phone, started pulling out my fib. They threatened to call the cops on me. I had to run out. But yeah, don't pull your fib in public, guys. Make sure you're in the privacy of your own of your own house or something. Let's see. Shout out to Cato. Says, "Hey, brother, good to be here with you." Shout out to you, man. Welcome in. Happy to have you. Let's see. Muted Bull Run. Shout out to DMB Smurf. Obviously, this is not impossible, right? I am never going to say every time on this show, guys, ever since the inception of my channel, I have never been all or nothing, right? This is not how the market moves, so it does look good right now, right? I do feel good about that, right? But obviously, if we come up here and we wind up rejecting the trend line, rejecting the 786, well, hey, lower high, lower low could be in line, right? And this is actually kind of like a nice little, let me see if I can draw this. Whoops. Bada boom, right? Yeah, this is like somewhat of a pretty clean, like, descending channel. But bull flag, maybe. Bull flag, maybe. It does look good, right? If we can break out, right? But at the end of the day, it looked good here as well, right? We have the 786 Fibonacci retracement, right? We're just saying, well, hey, guys, if we can break out of that 786, more specifically, close the weekly candle, right? Not only just saying, like, hey, it's a key level of resistance, right? But we understand that's a potential doorway to higher prices. If you break above that 786, the lower high is invalidated, and you're probably looking up to new all-time highs, which we were if we were able to get up there. The one thing we needed was the weekly candle closure above there. Did we get it? We did not, right? We wicked above, closed down below. Tried to attempt it again the next week, couldn't do it, right? And what happens? That lower low does come in. So you have the high, the low, the lower high, the lower low. Is this finished? I would say right now it looks pretty good, right? But right now is different than tomorrow or the next day if we have new information on the chart. So keep that in mind, right? And either way, we're going to catch those longs or those shorts, making money whether price goes up or down. That's the beautiful thing, right? If this is the end of the bull market, right? I know, or at least last time we were pulling back, a lot of people thought it was the bear market, right? If it is the bear market, we will very likely be in a short from a higher, right? So, yeah, it's the beautiful thing about trading. You do not have to be a slave to the bull run. I know everybody gets frustrated. Alts aren't running. Come on, I want to get rich in crypto. But being a trader, it's absolutely beautiful. We made a ton of money in this bear market. You do not have to wait for price to go up to make money. If you learn how to read the charts, you can make money on every single, not that you make money on every single, but you have an opportunity to make money on every single move up. And not only that, but also the moves down. Shout out to the CandleMafia. It's the CandleMafia way, baby. It's the CandleMafia way. Let's see. Pull my fib here. Shout out to Drummer. Says, pull my fib here. Pull my fib there. Pull my fib everywhere. Dr. Seuss. Shout out to Drummer. Perry in the chat. Shout out to Perry. Welcome in, bro. Welcome in. Salute, my friend. Salute. BTC to top out in September, October. And we get alt season in November. Shout out to Eugene Sky. That is actually, when we looked at our cycle chart recently, that actually, from a timing perspective, makes a lot of sense, right? The top comes in 2021, the true all-time high, right? Well, I think the true all-time high was really here, which came in 336 days after the halving. But the numerical actual dollar amount all-time high came in 546 days after the halving, right? If we were to pull that, say, 546 days out, right, where does that bring us? I mean, hey, that brings us, October, and then November. I mean, it would line up from a timing perspective. So, yeah, those are basically my thoughts. If you guys tuned in yesterday, not much has changed. Just keep in mind that we have that key level of support down below at the value area low. Let's see. Shout out to Cole. Says, anyone thinking we're going into a bear market is delusional. Shout out to Cole. I personally don't think we're going into a bear market. But, is it impossible? No, right? But I always say anything is possible in trading. It's never about understanding 100% where price is going to go. It's all a game of probabilities, right? In my opinion, the higher probability is eventually to go into all-time highs, but that doesn't mean that you can't get bigger pullbacks, right? But every time price goes down, bear market, right? And it just keeps coming up. So, yeah. And then also, if we take a look at the SPY, right? Like SPY, about to tap into all-time highs, right? This is typically a good sign for crypto, right? And then when it comes to the altcoins, you can take a look at the Russell. We've shown this many a times. The Russell 2000. I'll just pull up the RTY. If you take a look at the Russell here, you guys can see, this is another thing. Like typically during alt season, this is kind of like total 3 for the stock market. oftentimes when you get this thing to absolutely explode, that is where you see altcoins and even Bitcoin explode as well, right? And this does, if we take a look at some of these higher time frames, your weekly money flow has come back into the green. You take a look at the monthly green dot is about to print, right? Last time we had a monthly green dot below the 0 line here did end up giving us a pretty sizable rip to the upside, right? So if you're able to see that green dot print on the monthly, stock market coming and approaching all-time highs, this is a pretty good sign all around, right? And if you want to talk about a bullish candle here, look at that wick, baby. So yeah, a lot of things potentially pointing positive, right? Doesn't mean up in a straight line from right where we are right this second, though, right? Even if, again, just like when we look for the move down to 100K, does that change my long-term bullish sentiment? No. If we drop down to 97K, does that change my overall bullish sentiment? No. 90K, does it change my bullish sentiment? Not really, but it does start to get a little suspicious. But you do have the value area low sitting at about $90,000 as well, right? So, when you're looking at this from a volume profile perspective, at the end of the day, guys, right? You have 105,853, huge level on the chart. If we do wind up coming back in here, it does open up the door to come down to the POC. Definitely a place where we can bounce. But if you lose that, the value area low is still a big key level of support, and still an area, right? For it's not possible to come down there and then still wind up not having the bear market come in. I'm not going to cover like the super low levels today just because, we're pretty far away from them at this point, right? But still within the larger range as well. And then the local range is sitting right here, which we showed before, is what we're using for a potential move back up to about $108,000. So those are my thoughts, guys. I don't want to overcomplicate things, shout out to Dave Hagan said the SPY's V-shaped recovery is pretty. Absolutely. I mean, you look at this chart and it's like, you get that, very scary drop to the downside. There's no arguing that this was not a horrifying drop to the downside, and Bitcoin followed as well. But, at the end of the day, guys, like Bitcoin still held up really good on the April dump, right? So just keep that in mind, right? Like it's not a, this is just a common 30-ish% correction in a bull market, right? It's like, and when we take a look at that higher time frame chart here, pull up the regular candles, come on over to the daily or the 2-day, right? Yeah, it's like, you deviate below that bull market support band, get back above it, 2-day money flow crossover, leg up. Deviate below the bull market support band, reclaim it, 2-day money flow crossover, leg up. Deviate below the bull market support band, reclaim it. 2-day money flow crossover is happening right now. Monthly green dot is happening right now. Can we get that next leg up potentially? And as we talked about recently, the bull market support band is now sitting at around $97,000, right? So that again, even if you get another drop down, that bull market support band still just underneath you on that macro point of control, right, at 97K. So not too bad. Shout out to Crypto Pollo in the chat. Welcome in, bro. Happy to have you in here. Everybody give us a in chat for Crypto Pollo. Let's go. Hope you're doing well, bro. Let's see. Shout out to Nate B. Shout out to you, bro. He says, can you go over the premium Discord? I am very interested. Shout out to Nate B. Yeah, I'll try to go over it briefly at some point. It is not, I'll just break this down. It is not a signals group. I don't go in there and say, hey, guys, buy right now. All right, guys, sell right now, right? That is, I do not do signals. It is not a signals group. If that's what you're looking for, I don't believe in signals groups. If they worked, I say this like literally almost every stream. If signals groups worked, no one would ever have a job, right? Everyone would just be in one signals group. They'd all be taking the same signals, and everybody be getting rich doing nothing. But what I do is I share my personal trade setups. Actually, you can see it here. I have some folders here, right? Where's it at? Bada boom, bada bing. Am I tripping? Oh, did I drop them on this chart maybe? Where the heck? Did I put them on the wrong chart? But either way, right, basically what I do is I find those predetermined levels, right? I find the predetermined levels. I find the setups that I personally want to look for. There you go, long scalp one, short scalp one, swing long idea. So what I do here, I'm not going to show them because it wouldn't be fair for the people who pay, but I find those trade setups that I am personally interested in taking. We did that up here for the short from about $108,000. So I'll just kind of run you through that situation, right? Basically what I do is I say, well, hey, guys, we have a key level of support here. I'll just kind of run through it, like not, exactly what we look for. But, basically, if you're sitting up here, price is approaching this level. Before we even approach this golden pocket 786, I'll say, well, hey, guys, if we're going to put in a lower high and a lower low, this is the level to look at it for, right, or look for it at. If we come up here, I'm going to want to see these confirmations. Generally, the invalidation of the trade, I'll be like, well, hey, if we get above that 786, obviously that's going to be the invalidation of the lower high and the lower low coming in. And then I will literally, I'll even pull into bar replay mode just to show you kind of exactly what it looks like. It's like, I'll even come sometimes we wait for these levels for a long time, right? I'm already looking at that level saying, hey, guys, if we can get up there, this is the next area I'm looking for a short at, right? So if we can come up there between the golden pocket 786 is the area I want to see that short setup, right? We're going to be looking for X, Y, and Z confirmation if we can call it, right? Sometimes you can front run them, sometimes you can't, but I tell them exactly what I want to look for to enter, and then, obviously entry, stop loss, all that stuff is, up to your own decision, right? You have to make your own financial decisions. I just share what I'm doing, and obviously this did wind up coming up. We got the confirmation up here above the golden pocket. And I try to walk everybody through the price action as much as I can. And then it's like, hey, there we go. We got the confirmations. Get back into the range. We could target the POC. And then if we get below the POC, we can look to go to the low. And then obviously, that wound up playing out beautifully, right? That is the trade that I just wound up closing. We come down to the POC. We get down to that value area low eventually after we actually even took a scalp long right on the POC. That played out as well. And then we get down to the value area low. At that point, right, I look at the chart and I say, well, hey, guys, if you want to close your whole trade down here, that's up to you. Beautiful position. Plays out perfectly just like we wanted. But I'm going to hold a portion of the position with profits locked in. And my next target for that trade, in this case, was $100,000 golden pocket anchored VWAP. So I said, hey guys, I'm partially out of that position. I'm going to hold a portion of it with my stop loss and profit, guaranteed winning trade and there's a reason for this, right? I'm walking you guys through why I anticipate a continuation down, right? Well, high, low, lower, high, lower, low, right? You're expecting to break a structure down here, and you have your next key level support down here, and then it winds up playing out a little bit more directly into that zone, right? We don't win every single trade. They don't all play out exactly like that, but that's pretty much what we do, right? We set traps in the market. I talk about what I want to see. I don't want to just hand buy and sell signals, right? It just won't work, right? If I say, hey, guys, I got into a scalp here, right? By the time I get that information in the Discord, price could already move, and then the Mafia is getting a bad entry, and, it's kind of like a facade, right? It's like, oh, hey, I got the trade, right? But you guys got a late entry, a late exit, and a lot of people get wrecked like that. I like to preset those. Setups so you can sit on your hands, wait for the mouse to come into your trap, nibble on the bait, and then only when it takes the bait is that where we're going to take the trade, right? So there you go. That's pretty much what we do in the Discord. And if you want to get a free kind of sample or a free trial to the Discord, you could join the dining room in the Discord. Just join the free Discord here. Let me pull up the dining room really quickly. Yeah, if you pull up here, I'll just scroll up so I don't leak any new stuff. But yeah, if you come into the dining room, all you have to do is sign up with one of our affiliate links. Come to Unlock Access. There's directions on there on how to get in. But in Premium TA, you will get one premium post per week. Sometimes they are setups. Sometimes they're just general TA. But yeah, and this is free, right? Just sign up with one of our affiliate links, which we do get a kickback for, but it doesn't cost you any money. And it's endless, right? You get one post a week for the rest of time, right, for eons and eons to come. And then if you like it, you can go ahead and pull the trigger. So there you go. There's a little breakdown on the Discord. But with that being said, guys, these are my thoughts on Bitcoin. This is, reasons why I feel good, the invalidation for the potential continuation up, exactly what I'll be looking at. If you just tuned in, scrub back to the beginning of the stream. I cover everything in detail. Let's see here. Shout out to Brent, said it took some time, but I finally fluently speak Francanese. Shout out to Brent. It is a special language. It is a fast language. Some people call me 2X Frankie. Let's see. Shout out to the King of Bitcoin, said trading isn't complex. What is complex is your ego thinking it's smarter than the system. Shout out to the King of Bitcoin. I could not agree more. I always say TA and trading are two separate skills. You can be the best technical analyst and a terrible trader. They're two separate skills. Really trusting in the TA and the information is really what is going to that's what's going to keep you profitable over time, right? You can make the best calls in the world and be like, oh my God, it's definitely going to bounce here, right? But if you don't know where you're taking the trade, if you don't understand the TA, or maybe you get greedy, right? Maybe you hit your final target and you're like, nah, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to make $1 million, right? And then it comes down and stops you out. You can be as great at TA as you want, right? But trading's a totally different skill. You have the emotion, the ego, 100% the King of Bitcoin. I could not agree more. You speak Russian? Shout out to Eddie, Russian. Yeah, I'm always Russian. I'm from New York. We're always Russian. But anyway, let's continue on. XRP is a beautiful accumulation range, just getting ready for the next blast off. Shout out to Salinda. But yeah, we will take a look at XRP and the altcoins pretty much right now. But yeah, just for Bitcoin, guys, like next major target to the upside, if we are able to break above the local golden pocket, which obviously I did move this in that little explanation of the Discord. But obviously we are hitting the golden pocket, right? So just be aware, right? This is definitely a key level of resistance. Actually, let's pull it up on the folder here. Bada boom, right? So you're hitting the golden pocket daily MPOC here. And remember, liquidity is sitting above, as I marked out earlier in the stream. So, maybe this squeezes us into the value area high. Maybe it gives us a little SFP or something like that. But again, any pullbacks right now locally would be treated as lackluster for higher lows and higher highs to come. Why, Frankie? Why, though? Like, what about the higher time frame trend, right? Well, the 4-hour money flow crossing into the green. This might fake out if we get the red dot, but overall here, I would expect the local trend to continue unless we lose that 786, right? We lose the 786, I'm looking down towards 97K. So there you go. Quick little recap on Bitcoin. We'll put an alert here in case we start cracking to the upside, or if we start cracking to the downside as well. We'll keep an eye on this chart throughout the stream. But I do want to take a look at some of the altcoins as well. I'm actually going to start off with XRP because I forgot who said it, but somebody brought it up, so I will just jump into XRP really quickly here. Come on over to the altcoin template. Bada boom. Bada bing, right? So XRP, right? Same thing, right? Saying if Bitcoin comes down and takes its low, right? Where's XRP probably headed? Well, XRP is probably headed to the value area low golden pocket. We've gotten a very, very nice bounce off this level. Obviously, a key level we've been looking at on the live stream. And you can see here, right? We came down with bullish confirmations into the value area low. And we didn't get the rotation all the way to the POC and the value area high. This proves, right, that nothing is 100%, as reliable as the volume profiles can be. Flip the low, go to the POC, flip the POC, go to the high. Lose the high, back to the POC, lose the POC, back to the low, right? Sometimes you don't get that full rotation, but oftentimes the writing is on the charts, right, or on the wall. And we saw those levels, right? We knew that if we were going to continue the uptrend to the POC, we had to hold above the golden pocket 786, which was sitting right here. And then once we lose that, we're going to be looking down towards that next bigger key level of support into that golden pocket. And one of the other things that made me suspicious of XRP coming back down here is like we front ran this major golden pocket, right? Very oftentimes, even if you get a bounce front running it, you will come back down and retest those more significant levels. So this is nice. You deviate below the low. Once you get above this low, right, you're thinking, hey, go value area low at about 206 is going to be the key level of support. As long as we can stay inside this range, the next major target can remain the golden pocket POC at about 240. I'll just call it 240, right? Technically down to about 237. Get above that. You have your 786 up there, which technically, could you get a rejection from and put, come back down? Maybe. But the confluence is here on the golden pocket. You flip that POC, you could potentially anticipate the full fill of that range into the value area high at 260. And then once we start breaking out of there, guys, things could get exciting very, very quickly, pushing us into that next zone upwards of about 352. Frankie, that's not that big of a target. Well, obviously, above that, we have 418 up to 453. Start breaking above there. We can look into the $5 range. 554 is the top of that target. The bottom of that target is about 527. So these are some of the bigger targets I would look at on XRP if and when we get the breakout. I wouldn't say this, I wouldn't necessarily say just this bounce is indicating the move up. But again, with the way Bitcoin looks, maybe we can finally start to get things going here. And again, XRP really likes to, just with the way like XRP moves a lot of the time, like before it got like completely flattened by the lawsuit, right? XRP really, really, really likes to just like pop up and like pennant out, pop up, pennant, pop up, right? And then obviously this was the top of 2017. You get the big drop to the downside, and then the whole lawsuit thing happened. But very often, right, like this does look not too bad. That does not look too bad to me. And then when we take a look at Market Cipher B on the daily, right, you did get the zoom in here a little bit, right? So you do actually have your nice little daily bullish divergence printing here now, right? Is that printing? Yeah, that is currently printing. 90-minute money flow is in the green. This could indicate the trend is likely to continue to the upside, right? So there you go. Assuming, Bitcoin stays safe, right? Let's see. Shout out to CT. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Say, can you take a look at Buttcoin? Is that like the new Bitcoin? Buttcoin? Shout out to you, man. Yeah, I'll try to take a look at Buttcoin for you. I don't know how much price action is going to be on that chart, but I will try my best. I'll write it down here. If you guys want to see your favorite altcoins, go ahead and drop them in the chat right now. Rob the Crypto Stomp will count up the votes and let us know what we're looking at. Rob, let's do like 3 requests today. Gen Z says, choose one, XRP, Solana, or ETH. Dang, bro, that's hard. I hold all of them. That's really hard. I don't know. I honestly, in my opinion, right, not that this should just mean you should go out and buy this stuff, right? In my opinion, I know ETH has gotten a bad rap recently. But, if we look here, taking a look at Ethereum, right? And here we are at that anchored VWAP value area low, our first major level of resistance we looked at yesterday. I mean, listen, Ethereum, I really don't see a world where Ethereum does not get a massive pump. And, like I said down here, people are not interested in Ethereum here, right? Ethereum is dead down here. No one's going to be interested in Ethereum until it's already pumped, right? But, I don't know. I don't really see a world where Ethereum doesn't pump. Eventually, is Ethereum not going to be around? Who knows, right? But I'm not going to lie, right? I think I saw something that said, like whales are accumulating ETH. Who knows? That's not something I would ever trade off of, obviously. But yeah, I mean, oh man, that's a hard pick, right? It would depend on how much money you had, right? Like how much money you were willing to risk. If I had, I always say if my rich uncle approaches me, right, or like your rich, parent or whatever you have, if someone with a lot of money came up to me and said, "What should I buy?" I'm gonna point them towards the higher market cap coins, which would be Bitcoin, Solana, ETH, right? And then XRP is up there as well. But, the XRP law, I don't know. I feel like XRP is like, oh, man, we got stepped on by the lawsuit. It, like, kind of makes it a little bit scarier. But, yeah, I don't know. It's really hard, man. Give me a minute. I'll tell you at the end of the stream. Shout out to Gen Z. Let's see. All right, so taking a look at Ethereum here. We'll just move on with this. Obviously, looking as Bitcoin breaks its low. Talking about the POC and the value area low, golden pocket zone being the next two key levels of support. We broke above that point of control. We broke below that point of control. Once we couldn't reclaim this range, POC would likely be next. Lose that POC, you're looking to come back down to this bigger zone. As always, I prefer the value area low zone in any situation. Could you have bounced off the POC? Yes. But as anything we ever look at, guys, I always prefer to come down to that value area low just because it just shows that you're closer to an undervalued asset, in my opinion. Or not even in my opinion, but just relative to your range, right? But you get that beautiful bounce off the golden pocket, very similar to XRP. POC was your next level of resistance. We got hung up there for like 2 seconds, got above it, and now we are approaching the level of resistance we looked at yesterday, which is the value area low anchored VWAP. You can see we pushed into this zone. We are getting a little bit of resistance here. 4-hour red dot is looking to print. Let's check that 15-minute money flow. 15-minute money flow headed out as well. Actually, trying to kick up there again. But if this 15-minute money flow crosses into the red, I would anticipate some kind of a little bit of a bigger pullback there. But, taking a look at the 4-hour, right, money flow finally crossing back over into the green. This could indicate that you are going to start a little bit more of a trend to the upside. Biggest level to reclaim for Ethereum locally is going to be the value area low anchored VWAP zone right here, right? 2479 to 2449 or 2450. Get above that level, you could target the POC. Get above the POC, you can start to look up towards these other levels, which, I keep forgetting this golden pocket. I'm like, is this a golden pocket? It's covered up by this line. Let me get rid of this line. Golden pocket. Let me see if we have any other confluence there as well. Where are my daily levels? Bada boom. Yeah, no daily level there. So you have your golden pocket 786. This is pulled from the high here to the low, right? From this high to that low. Golden pocket 786. 786 is somewhat confluent with the value area high. This is obviously going to be a zone, right? Between the golden pocket 786. Golden pocket starts at about 2609. 786 ends at about 2730, right? So if you're going to come up, that would be the area to look for some kind of a rejection. It's also confluent with your value area high. But again, if that money flow continues up on the 4-hour, daily still looking a little suspicious here. If that crosses back into the red, maybe you put in a new low, very similar to Bitcoin. But right now, right, get above this value area low, at least looking up towards the POC at 2532. Flip that. I'm looking to come in to the golden pocket value area high 786 zone, right? Once we crack above that 786, I would say we look pretty good to, you have your daily up here, no real confluence on that level, but once you get above that 786, it would invalidate the idea of that lower high coming in and would make me target the $31,000 to $3,000 golden pocket daily MPOC above, right? Taking a look at some of the higher time frames on Ethereum. Take a look at that 2-day green dot looking to print. Money flow also ticking up there as well. Remember, money flow is all about direction. It's okay to fake out back into the red as long as the overall trend continues into the green. Bitcoin is getting that tick up on the 2-day money flow back into the green. And we have the same signal on Ethereum as we have on Bitcoin with a potential 2-day money flow crossover with the, monthly green dot printing, right? This is, again, a pretty high time frame bullish market cipher B signal. So just overall, right, even if we have to get a little bit of a bigger pullback, right, I would say overall here, nice little correction down to that golden pocket, reclaim this value area, look up towards the high, crack that 786, we could start to look up towards $31,000 to $3,000. If we put in a new low, biggest key level of support, if we lose the value, you have your value area low untapped here at $2,100, you lose that, you have the 786 daily MPOC between 1986 and 1937. If we do put in another lower high, right? Whether it comes in here or up in that fib zone, right? We lose that value area low. I would be looking at that 786 daily MPOC. But locally, I would just watch this range, right? We looked at this as our target yesterday. We're pushing into there now. Flip that. We can look up here. Very simply put. So there you go. Let's see. Shout out to David says, and the 2 that I had won were stolen. So there's that. Shout out to David. NFTs. Only problem is most of them are worth 99% less than what I thought, than what I bought them at. Shout out to David. Somebody stole your NFTs. That is crazy, bro. Sorry about that. Let's see. Just make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat. Yeah, shout out to Jasper says, saying it's scary because of the lawsuit is saying you should sell because it dropped. It already happened, so more reason not to be scared, really. Yeah, shout out to Jasper. I would agree with that. I didn't sell any of my XRP, so put it that way. I would just say it's like, I would see it as a little, XRP is always a little bit of a tougher sell for me, for people, right? Because they're like, hey, isn't that the one that was in that lawsuit? And then like, so it's a little bit of a tougher sell, is what I should say. I didn't sell any of my XRP. I've been holding XRP forever. I ain't selling that thing till it goes to 10K. I'm kidding. I don't think it's going to 10K, guys, unfortunately. Maybe one day. I don't know. Hopefully it does. But yeah, shout out to Jasper. I would agree with that. Let's see. Can we take a look at Doge? Yes, we could take a look at Doge. Let me see here. Did we get an alt list? I'm sure Rob has dropped it. I'll take a look at Bitcoin as well. Yo, shout out to Gen Z said, when BTCTA, Frankie. Shout out to Gen Z. Yeah, we're not covering Bitcoin today. Shout out to Gen Z. Let's see. All right, so I'll take a look at Bitcoin. And then, Rob, I'm sure you already dropped the list, but if you could just drop it one more time while we take a look at Bitcoin. Oh, what a time to be alive, guys. What a time to be alive. Taking a look at Bitcoin. They just call it the next Bitcoin? That's crazy, bro. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be a little bit difficult. I'll try to give you some key levels here. Let's pull up our VPVR on this real quick. I'm going to go through this one probably pretty quickly. So, yeah, taking a look at our visible range volume profile. All right, so pretty big gap here. So I would honestly tell you that this is a very, very key level to hold. You really want to hold this shelf of volume right here. So this is pretty much just a high volume node. Or not even, it's really just a shelf of volume, right? And the problem with shelves of volume are that if you lose them, you fall off the shelf and then land on the shelf underneath you, which in my opinion would be sitting right here. And between these two shelves is what you call a low volume gap, typically leading to fast movements through them. So I'll just put that gap box there, bada boom. So I would say you're definitely tapping a very, very key level of support. Oftentimes, the more times you tap a level, the more likely it is to open up. I always kind of say the more times you tap on a door, the more likely someone is to rip it open and be like, what the heck do you want? But in this case, that door opening is the floor, right? And you would likely fall down to the first level, which is sitting down here at about 0.00, I'll just say 2008, right? So be very careful. If you lose this low, you can see like last time you lost this, it was like, oh, you fall through there and then you finally reclaim it. So you don't really want to lose this level in my opinion. You have that big gap underneath you. So that is level number one, right? So 2513 could lead you all the way back down to about, I would say, potentially down to 2025, right? You do have a little bit of a peak in volume there as well, but you can see that wick came right down there at about 2053. So definitely a big gap there. So that's just worth understanding and knowing that it's there, right? Fast moves down often leads to fast moves up. So, fast move down here, lose this, probably going to be a fast move down. Now, looking to the upside, take a look at the daily. I'll mark off some daily levels for you. You got a daily right here. Just going to go through this like pretty quickly. No daily there, no daily there. You have another, no daily there, no daily there, no daily there. Man, you took all these highs. Okay, so you have a daily up here. See if you have any MPOCs. You probably, you have another daily MPOC up there as well. So this is definitely going to be a level to look at. See if we can find any more confluence on there as well. And then you have another daily MPOC up here, pretty far away. Let's check the weekly MPOCs real quick. Yeah, you have I'm just going to mark this out as daily plus weekly MPOC, because you have a daily and a weekly there. So yeah, I would say like your biggest level above would probably be this area right here. Daily, weekly MPOC, and you also have the daily horizontal, right? So that would be definitely a level of resistance that I would keep an eye on. And then we'll see if we can find any confluence there as well. Yeah, POC of the range or the previous range. Let me pull a fib real quick. I'll pull it from all the way up here, all the way to the low. Just got shocked, guys. This charger literally is like sitting right next to me, and sometimes I touch it, and it shocks me, bro. That's crazy. This thing's definitely a fire hazard. That's crazy. One stream, I thought I got stung by a bee, and it turned out that I just got electrocuted by my phone charger. Anyway, let's see here. All right, so from the lower high to the low, so I'm just mark out some of these key levels of resistance, just so you can have something to look at when you're trying to trade this thing, or potentially look to buy. Again, I don't know anything about this, so keep that in mind as well. I'm not saying you should buy this or not buy it, just doing binary technical analysis here. Boom. Okay, so this is the volume profile I would look at above, and I would actually extend this box into the POC. So I would say, hey, if you could hold this key level of support, your hope here is that you can reapproach this value area low. This is your doorway to higher prices, right? This is your doorway to higher prices. Get above this. You could push into your bigger level, which is your daily and weekly MPOC, daily horizontal, and the point of control of the range. So these are definitely the levels I would look at. Get above that low. You could look to come in here. Once you flip that, you could look to come into the golden pocket 786. These are definitely the key levels above that I would look at. So yeah, I'm going to kind of, I'll take a look at market cipher B here. It might not be as helpful because there's not a lot of information. 2-day, yeah, it starts to get a little bit hard to look at these higher time frames. 4-day green dot printing, no information on the 5-day. Let's check that 4-hour. 4-hour money flow crossover into the green. So yeah, a little harder to pull to anything from market cipher B on this, but these would definitely be the key levels of that I would be looking at right now. Value area low sitting at 43.19, and then your first major zone of resistance 55.42 up to about 64.94. And then the second target and bigger level above is going to be between 75.68 and 96.73. This is what I would look for. You do not want to lose this level here at, call it, 25.23. Lose that. Could be a fast drop to the downside. If you hold it, you're looking to come back into this volume profile and get a rotation back towards those Fibonacci levels. Understanding your resistance here in the middle of the range. So there you go. There is Buttcoin. Hopefully that helps you out. Let's see. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Thank you for that Sui link. Let's check out. Thank you for that, Rob. I appreciate you. Let me not put you in timeout and just replace the pinned comment. All right, so let's take a quick look at Sui. And here we are. That's not our Sui chart. I think we are looking at the not the Bybit spot. I got to save this on the. Here we are. Okay, so taking a look at Sui, let me just update some of these levels. A lot of these are probably older. Yeah, that is no longer relevant. Okay, yeah, so obviously, as we were bouncing around here on Sui, losing this anchored VWAP value area low, very similar to, what did we look at before? I don't want to say the wrong coin, but anytime we lose these anchor VWAPs, guys, like you want to hold these levels for continuations of the aggressive uptrend. Once you lose it, probably going to come a bit deeper, right? Where we have the doorway to lower prices, which wound up playing out perfectly here because you bounced off it, you rejected the value area low. Once you get accepted in here, where are you expecting price to go? You're probably looking for price to head back down towards that POC. We front ran that POC by a couple of cents there, but you can see there's a reason we look at these as doorways to lower prices, right? If you break back in here, you're probably going to get the dumpski down to towards that POC where we also had a daily, that was a tap daily MPOC. So yeah, we almost got that move down to the POC. And right now we are, your goal here is to get out of this range. If you can't get back out of this range, right, the move back down to the POC and potentially down to the value area low daily MPOC down here could be possible, right? And we have been looking at this doorway to lower prices ever since we started losing this range the first time, right? Because if you impulse out of this upper profile, right, price is going to gravitate towards fair value. Where is the last area of fair value? It was sitting right down here. Right, let me turn this blue for support, right? So, once you come down here and you lose this, you're expecting at least a drop towards the POC. If not, you could potentially fill the range in full. If the bottom is in on Bitcoin, maybe we can get this thing to recover a little bit better. Right now, your daily money flow is still in the red, so that's not the best sign. It could take some time for that to roll back to the upside. Daily green dot is printing. Again, as I say every single day, guys, I think the 2-day money flow crossover on the altcoins is really what you need. It's oftentimes give you the big rips to the upside. Boom. Boom. Right? So that 2-day money flow crossover is like a very simple higher time frame signal to look for a bigger move at. You have the 2-day green dot printing. Daily green dot's confirmed. Yeah, 4-day money flow in the red. I mean, that just is what it is. You're hoping for a fake out there, right? If this money flow stays in the red, I mean, you're probably more likely to continue a lower high, lower low scenario. But you know, again, it's gonna weigh a lot on what Bitcoin does. So I would say key level of resistance to break above right now, 281. Get above that. You're hoping you can approach $3.07, where that anchored VWAP will likely become confluent once again. Right, so as you push up, that anchored VWAP is probably going to push in confluence there. So if you break out here, probably going to get some resistance. But if you could flip that level to support, that's really the level you want to get above. Just like this is the doorway to lower prices, this value area low will be the doorway to higher prices, potentially targeting the POC once again. And you can see this has already happened. You get above the value area low, POC is next, right? We come back down, play around with the POC. This is the strongest level within the profile, oftentimes making price act as a magnet up here. And then once you lose it, right, key level supports the value area low. And then at that point, you're like, well, hey, if we get accepted back into this prior range, we're probably headed towards that POC. So yeah, hopefully, yeah, I would say first order of business, you got to get above here. If you can't break out of this range, doorway to the POC, which I will label here so you guys can actually see it, door to the POC and the value area low, daily MPOC is open. Right, so if you don't want to come down here, you know, it's okay to get cool-offs, right? And then, like, maybe you kind of get a little head and shoulders there and then break out. But if you get fully accepted into this range again, POC, until you break out of the value area high, POC and value area low is on the table. Locally, right, with our 4-hour time frame, like red dot printing, 15-minute money flow is in the red. So, yeah, you know, you're at resistance. You have the 4-hour red dot, so you could cool off a little bit. But your hope here is to continue at least the local trend to the upside, right, to get out of this value area, right? So you pull from this low to the high. You can see we got that perfect retracement into the golden pocket just like on Bitcoin, and then you get the higher high to come in, and now you're tapping resistance. So I would say if you do get a cool-off locally, I would say 259 down to about 250 is a big zone of support to hold, right? So if you do get a cool-off, maybe that 4-hour red dot gives you a bigger pullback, right? You're hoping that you could probably hold that Fibonacci extension zone, or Fibonacci retracement zone. So there you go. There is Sui. Shout out to Michael S. I know it's not crypto, but I would appreciate a look at NVIDIA. Say less, Michael S. I'll take a look at that after we get through the altcoins. We got 2 more. Then I'll take a look at NVIDIA. Shout out to Michael S. Let's go. One time, when we do look at stocks, we typically look at Tesla or NVIDIA. They're kind of like the Bitcoin of the stock market, right? The big boys. Let's see. Let's make sure I didn't miss anything else. Shout out to Wix Wi-Fi 89 and Wick 589. What is going on, guys? Welcome in. Welcome in. Always happy to have you guys. Temu charger. Shout out to Jesse. Actually, could be Temu charger. Mrs. Candles bought them. We got like 7 10-foot cables for like, I think it was like 18 cents. So probably not fire rated. Let's see. All right, so let's go into our next altcoin, which is going to be Chainlink, and then we'll take a look at Doge. Let's take a look at Link real quick. Bada boom. Whoops. All right, let's see here. Get that brush off. I mean, same thing here, right? Like just back down to the value area low. This is where we look for longs, right? This is where you at least want to look for bounces. Not that you have to long it, right? But this is where you're going to be looking for the bounces. You know, the one thing I would say is, yeah, I mean, listen, not that I want this to happen, but maybe I'll cover this another day. Yeah, I'll cover this another day. What I was going to say is if you break that low, like there would be some kind of a nice 4-hour bullish divergence. I just don't know if you're going to get that deep of a, like, I don't know if you're going to break this low just yet. You know, locally, you come on to like even a 1-hour time frame. You got your high, your low, your high, your higher low, your higher high. So I would say, you know, it's the same thing as Bitcoin, right? Like you have room to pull back here and still continue the uptrend. But the beautiful thing here is that you are still within your profile, right? You're back above the value area low. That's really what you're looking at. You come down, you tap the value area low, you lose it, you get your bullish divergences down here, even on a 1-hour time frame. A little bit of an exaggerated bull div there. Let's check the 4-hour. Yeah, no 4. The only thing I don't love there is that you don't have the 4-hour bull div. Now, this doesn't mean that you need the 4-hour bull div to come up higher. But, if this was a nice 4-hour bullish divergence, right, and you had money flow coming up, that would look like really strong bottom to me. But you just don't have the 4-hour bull div. You really only have, like, the lower time frame divs. Lower lows, higher lows. This is your 45-minute time frame. It's just not as clean, but you don't necessarily need the 4-hour bull div. And it is nice to see the nice bounce that we've already gotten, right? This thing has already bounced 25%, which is beautiful. So, at this point, 2-hour money flow looking to cross over into the green. 1-hour money flow is in the green. Daily green dot confirmed. 2-day money flow crossover is still pretty far away. Kind of just flat there with your money flow, but your green dot is printing. Let's check the 3-hour time frame. Yeah, I don't really see anything market cipher B-wise that gives us like a beautiful signal. You have the green dots, which is nice. Could call for a continuation to the upside. But again, money flow is going to indicate that overall trend. I mean, we need this money flow to come up, right? You technically had a daily bull div print at the low. Yeah, I would say I'm going to give you the key levels of resistance here. Pull from the local high to the low. Pull from this lower high. Yeah, I would say first and foremost, I mean, obviously this tap daily is gone. I would say for the most part, point of control of the range sits at 1432. Get above that, you can finally approach this last little Fibonacci level. This is the level that you must break above to fill this range in full, in my own personal opinion, right? Because you go from the low, POC would likely be the next target, and then once you get above there, you have resistance directly above you. This could be an area to get another rejection at, right? But if you get above that POC, crack that 786, I'd be lose the POC, go to the low. Back in, back to the POC, couldn't get to the high, and we come back to revisit the low. So just like any other volume profile rotation, I would say, value area low sitting at 1170 is key support, POC sitting at 1432, key resistance, and then above that, sitting right here between about 1633 and 1518. That's your biggest level to get above. Once you get above that, at that point, I would say it's likely to get a break of structure to the upside and then push into the weekly value area high, hopefully filling that range in full once again. So that's what I would look at. I would say money flow in the higher time frame still a little suspicious here on Link. But this, again, these are like cruise ships trying to turn. They take a long time to develop, right? So yeah, that 1-hour money flow crossover into the green is nice. 2-hour looking for the crossover as well. Yeah, you got the you could potentially continue up. Those are the resistance levels I would look at. And then key support, right? Very similar to Bitcoin. I'm just going to pull from the higher low to the current high, right? And that gives you this support zone here between the value area low, golden pocket, 786, right? So this is like really the big level that you don't want to lose, right? So even if you do come back down just like Bitcoin, right? Hopefully you could put in a higher low and continue that trend up locally. So that's what I'd be looking at on Chainlink. There we go. Let's see here. Shout out to World, says, I bought the perfect bottom of the stock market. Shout out to World. I'm getting a scam call right now. We used to troll those scam calls live on the stream. Shout out to Base Bailey dropping the Mrs. Candles hands in the chat. Let's go. Tried to catch at 2x speed. Had a seizure. Tasted colors. Now, so I taste colors now, so yeah, everything's normal now. Shout out to P-Dub. Got to be dangerous with Frankie Candles on 2x speed. I feel like I'm not even really on one today. Sometimes I'm on one, guys, and I'm just like, here's the key little sport. I'm just like going nuts. I feel like today I'm pretty chill, which is much faster paced than a lot of other people's chill. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Yo, shout out to, I don't even know what Rob's talking about. Rob says, we call them peasants. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Who do you call peasants? Oh, my God. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Dang. Yeah, it's crazy. Are you calling people with T-Moo chargers peasants? Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Anyway, let's continue on. I'm trying to shout out to Wybird, said I'm trying to leave work to full-time trade. Shout out to Wybird. Well, hey, you're not going to find any better free education than here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel and these daily live streams. So you're in the right place, bro. You're in the right place. Happy birthday, Rob. Shout out to P-Dub. Let's go. Bada boom, bada bing. I could taste colors too, but that's because of mushrooms. Shout out to Pennywise. All right, let's go. Unlogged in YouTube lurkers. Shout out to Rob. That's hilarious. Hey, it's worth logging in. Yesterday, Golden came by and dropped I think 300 and something memberships. And I don't think you can get them unless you're logged in. Let's see. Okay, so let's continue on here. We took a look at Sui. We took a look at Chainlink. Let's take a quick look at Dogecoin. Actually, I haven't taken a look at Dogecoin in a little while now. Where's Doge? Here we are. And Dogecoin, still below its value area low, into the weekly MPOC. Nice to hold that weekly MPOC as support. 2-hour money flow looking to cross over into the green. Yeah, I mean, you might be able to still get some turbulence here if you get that 4-hour red dot, but this is clear. Very, very clear. Deviation below the low. You're holding the weekly MPOC, which is nice. You've lost the 786, which typically would make me anticipate taking this low down here at about 13 cents into the next weekly MPOC at about 0.127. But we did not get that, right? You got a quick drop below the 786, and then you wound up reclaiming it at this point. So I would say biggest level right now, value area low. Doorway to higher prices. This has been the doorway to higher prices ever since our last revisit back here in 2024. Resistance until proven otherwise. Get back in. Go to the POC. Flip the POC. Go to the high. Back in. Reject the value area high. Back to the POC. Lose the POC. Go to the low. Right? Deviate from the low. Get back in. POC. Couldn't get to the value area high. Back down to the low. So I would say right now, biggest level to get above locally is going to be about 16 cents. Right, 16 to 17 cents at the value area low. If you can reclaim that, you might be able to get a bigger move to the upside. Now, how big would that move be? No daily bull div, unfortunately. You do have the 16-hour bull. It's like a local bull div, though. Yeah, I mean, you do have, lower highs and lower lows, but I would like to see more of like a local bullish divergence down there for a stronger bounce, to be quite honest with you. You had a little bit of a 1-hour bull div. So, yeah, I would say this is a little bit hard to read on Market Cypher B, but I will give you the levels here. Pull from the high. Come on. Come on. There we go. All the way to the low. All right, I'm just going to rough this one out because I can't get the magnet tool to work. Boom. All right, so you have this value area up here. This is a clear range to watch. You're pretty far away at this point, but I would say this does give you nice resistance at the golden pocket value area low. And then you also have a nice confluent level of resistance at the 786 value area high, and then you could just use this as a range, right? Let me pull the anchored VWAP from the top real quick. From the top, make it drop. All right, so you got no confluence there. Let me pull up the daily MPOCs real quick. I'm just pulling mad anchored VWAPs here by accident. All right. Let me see the weeklies real quick. All right, so you have a weekly MPOC right up in here. Boom. You have another weekly MPOC right above you. Boom. So, yeah, this is definitely a huge level to get above. That value area low. Oh, and those other anchored VWAPs are... Oh, I already had those anchored MPOCs labeled. Daily MPOC, that's tapped. So, yeah, I mean, I would say, listen, if you could get above this major level here, right? You have your... Oh, yeah, and you held this daily MPOC, which is now tapped as well. Yeah, I would say if you could reclaim this value area low, could start a little bit of a bigger move up. You got to be careful. This anchored VWAP is going to move its way down, which might end up being confluent with some local levels of local Fibonacci levels, right? So if I pull this from just, say, this high to the low, yeah, that anchored VWAP might become confluent potentially. But, yeah, I would say if you can break above this value area low at 16 to 17 cents, maybe start a bigger move up. Right? Pushing towards a larger target of about 21.5 cents at your value area low. Reclaim that. You would look up towards these upper value area levels. Expect that to play out as a typical volume profile. Flip the value area low. POC weekly naked point of control is confluent there. So get above there. Look to push into about 22 cents. Flip that. You can look up towards about 23.5 to almost 24 cents. So these are really the levels that I would be looking at. Again, like you're going to have some local levels inside of that, right? If you pull from this out of the low, you could see, yeah, you probably have some MPOCs in there as well. Yeah, I really prefer to pull my MPOCs from EXO charts, but you do have a daily MPOC here. Oh, and again, these might actually already, no, they're not. Okay, so daily MPOC, daily MPOC, daily MPOC. And I'll just mark this one out as well. Boom, drag this in here. Okay, so let's hide that. So yeah, I would say, I mean, locally, this golden pocket, it's kind of choppy price action, to be honest. So I'll just give you some of those resistance zones. These daily MPOCs are kind of sit in the middle of nowhere. But I would say these are, I mean, understand these are there. You could screenshot these to get them on your chart. But I would say biggest level to reclaim, I would say value area low, even the daily MPOC, 16 to 17 cents. You could maybe start your bigger journey up towards that next key level, which first major level starts at about 20 cents. Get above there, you could reapproach this volume profile. Kind of a messy chart, to be quite honest. You just kind of have like it's just kind of super choppy. Chop, 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 just chop everywhere. But these are the key levels I would look at. Biggest level of support down below is going to be this level that we just bounced off. If you lose this, probably going for the lower low, which might make sense in my opinion. But we'll see. If you reclaim this, much less likely you come and make that lower low. If you reject here, maybe you do come down and put a lower low in. But if you come back in, those are the levels of resistance. If you drop down, support at 12 cents, 0.126. Let's see. Shout out to Yassine says, I'm only 3 weeks into my journey, though. I am still learning. Shout out to Yassine. Hopefully I said your name right. I'm sure I didn't. But hey, bro, you are embarking on it's a difficult journey, but it is one of the most rewarding journeys you could possibly take on. Am I frozen? Someone said I'm frozen. Oh, God. Oh, it doesn't show that I'm frozen. Hopefully we're not. Let's see. We will see. I can either use leverage or short trading due to my region, so I'm kind of limited. Shout out to Yassine. Yeah, that is could be the case. That could be the case. Shout out to Jesse. Said I'm so busy. Sorry, I'm not active today. Shout out to Jesse. We don't care, bro. Your presence is enough for us, Jesse. Shout out to Jesse, man. Let's see. Never froze. Shout out to Jack. Okay, so we're still cooking here. We're still cooking. Let's go. I always ask ChatGPT. I sound like my my mother. ChatGPT. Shout out to my mom. For crypto advice, but I feel like he's not always accurate. Shout out to Megan. I would not be surprised. Shout out to ChatGPT. They actually have some tools that you can take screenshots of your chart and put them into an AI tool, and the AI will actually analyze the price action and tell you, like, well, hey, it looks like there might be a little liquidity sitting above here. I've tried a couple of them out. Some of them low-key speak broken English, to be honest. It's like liquidity sit above being a high. And I'm like, what the heck? So they are, I wouldn't, wouldn't risk a ton of my money on listening to it, but it was interesting. Shout out to Super Pro Max Plus. Shout out to the iPhones out there. Said, are you doing lives every day? Yeah, I do. We're here live every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, let's get it. Shout out to 12 Big. Welcome in, bro. Time to smell the socks. Shout out to 12 Big. Any thoughts on SEI? Yeah, so let's take a look. We took a look at Bitcoin. I'll take a look at NVIDIA and SEI. We'll take a look at SEI first, and then we'll jump into NVIDIA for our boy Michael S. Okay, so SEI getting a little pop ski to the upside. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to be honest, guys. Like, without going into every single nitty-gritty Fibonacci retracement, every MPOC, the 2-day money flow crossover is what I would look for. 2-day money flow crossover, sure, you got a dip, but again, money flow indicates the overall trend, right? not the ebbs or the flows. It indicates the overall trend. 2-day money flow coming up here was indicating, even when it was trending up, right? It's like indicating that higher lows and higher highs may be next, right? So 2-day money flow crossover would be very nice. We have a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high now. That money flow crosses into the green, right? Even if you get another pullback, you could anticipate that trend to continue up. Is that trend going to bring you into new all-time highs? Who knows, right? We have a little bit of work to do here. But, at this point, I would say we can get rid of this fib. That is old news. Let me just see what we got going on here. It's probably a nice retracement bounce there. Yeah, golden pocket 786. You put that higher low beautifully on that golden pocket 786. When you're looking for those higher lows, that is the zone to look at them for, between the 786 and the golden pocket. So I would say key support as of right now for the continuation of the trend. Obviously, if this moves, you're going to have to adjust your fib to that candle. But I would say as of right now, let me pull this little... So this is what I would look for. You have a little bit of an overlap on the profiles here, but that's okay. Low, high, POC. Okay, so, man, I wish I had this in folders. So I would say this. If you can hold above the value area low at 26 cents, your thought process is get accepted into this upper value, fill it in full up to about 35 cents. And even here, doorway to lower prices, when approaching from above, lose this. There's a reason these are the doorways to lower prices. Drop down to the value area low, right? So I would say hold that 26 cent level, look up towards that value area high, and we might just shoot up there. But even if you cool off, I would say your first big level of support is going to be that value area low at 26 cents. If you get accepted back below that, I would be okay with a little bit of a pullback into this golden pocket 786 value area low to continue the uptrend. So let me actually just clean this up for you a little bit. Let me actually grab this, put it in a folder. Where is the... Okay, cool. So I could hide that, right? So locally, this is your lower profile. I would say this is definitely a key level of support. You have your POC golden pocket value area low. You really want to hold above this level. Similar to Bitcoin, right? So if you get a bigger pullback, you get accepted back into this range, that's where you're looking to bounce, right? Continue the uptrend. Let me just grab all of this. Yeah, beautiful. Now it's nice and clean. So let me collapse that, collapse this. And then, until you lose that value area low, which would be very close to losing the value area high here. Those levels are very close to each other. But if you just continue up, right, the idea here would be like, hey, if you could hold above this locally, hey, you could fill that range. If you start losing it, you can then look down to that bigger zone of support down here. Lower level of support sits between 21 and 18.5 cents. And then your local support is, I guess you can incorporate the POC into that as well. You have your POC value area low between 28 and 26 cents, right? So stay above here. Opportunity. I mean, honestly, stay above the POC. You can look up towards that value area high, right? But even if you test this value area low, that's your first key level of support. Lose that. I would turn this range off, turn this one on, and say, well, hey, if I get accepted back in here, maybe I go back to the POC value area low, which would still be an area I would be willing to look for a bounce. Once you lose that 786, though, yikes, looks a little bit more bearish for potentially taking out that low. So there you go. Money flow on the 2-day, crossing into the green would be a very good sign that the uptrend will continue. So keep that in mind as well. So that's what I would look at on SEI. Nice little pop to the upside there. All right, so there we go. Let's see. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Sob said, I DCA my buy-in when the fear goes over 80. I DCA selling when greed goes over 80. Simple long-term strategy. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Sob. Bonafide long-term strategy. Let's go. Shout out to Vegas Call in the chat. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. Free liquidity now, Vegas Call. Shout out to Jesse. Ain't no party like a liquidity party. I don't know if he's saying liquidity or liquid ditty. Baby oil ditty. Oh, God. Anyway. All right, let's continue on here, guys. Let's take a quick look at NVIDIA. Honorable mention for our boy Michael S. Let's take a look at NVIDIA here. Yeah, well, hey. We don't look at NVIDIA very often, but when we do, guys, we call those volume profiles and those moves almost to the dollar. Let's go. on that big collapse in April, right? Obviously, we were saying, hey, if we come back up, what is that area we want to reclaim? We want to reclaim value area low. This is the magic of the magnetic properties and the laws of the volume profile. We know once you can reclaim this value area low, we're going to be looking up towards that point of control. And if I turn on the Higanashi candles, we get a little better look, right? Reclaim value area low. Next stop for price is going to be POC. Once you reclaim that POC, the next likely place for price to go is going to be that value area high. And it looks like we are well on our way up there. We almost tapped that value area high today. Right, so 148.96 is that value area high. That is what I'd be looking at to the upside. Do we have any Fibonacci retracement levels up there? I wouldn't think so. I think we're already above them. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a lower high and a lower low, the opportunity to do that was between the 786 and the golden pocket. Did we get it? We did not. We came up, got a little cool off, and we broke above it. I would say value area high next at 146.72. No, I'm sorry, 148.83 is next. Break above that. I mean, hey. All-time highs. I mean, this thing almost looks crazier than Bitcoin, like over the years. But yeah, I mean, I would say, hey, you're approaching that value area high. Could it be resistance? Yes, but you break above that. I mean, all-time highs potentially to come there. Almost the same exact thing that we look at on the SPY, right? I don't know why I said that. SPY. And Vidya. But SPY, same thing, right? We looked at this on the April dump as well, right? If we get the bounce off the golden pocket and we get a bigger push to the upside, you're looking to reclaim value area low, go into the POC. Once you're able to reclaim the POC, value area high is next. And actually, yeah, we got even closer to the value area high here at 608. So we already gotten that to fill in full. It took some time, right? Like how long was this? 46 days to finally fill it. We were looking at this before we even approached. But, I mean, looking for potential all-time highs here. That is typically bullish for crypto. I mean, if SPY goes in all-time highs, Bitcoin may be able to follow. So just keep that in mind. And again, if you're looking for lower highs and lower lows here, I would say, right, where would those likely come in at? At the value area low. Did we get it? No, we actually reclaimed that. That invalidates the idea of a lower high and a lower low. Gives you opportunities to come into all-time highs. We'll see what happens. But yeah, NVIDIA, just to give you out those levels, Michael, actually, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of shocked that we even had TA on here because we don't look at stocks very often, but happened to look at NVIDIA recently. So, yeah, I mean, like, listen, can you get the cool off here? Like, maybe you kind of bing-bong around the range, but, I mean, I would say you get a clean breakout here. Potential all-time highs incoming. Take a look at Market Cipher B. Yeah, daily money flow in the green. That would indicate the trend is likely to continue to the upside. Higher lows, higher highs. Green dot printing. 90-minute has been in the green for quite some time. Let's check the monthly. Monthly green dot printing as well. What was the last time we saw a monthly green dot? At least below the zero line, or actually last monthly. I mean, both of these. I'll just mark off these monthly green dots on NVIDIA. Right? Oh, the last few. I'm not going to mark out every single one, right? I don't know. Green dot. Consolidation, massive leg up. Green dot on the monthly. Massive leg up. Green dot on the monthly. Massive leg up. Big cool off. Another massive move up. This is the monthly, right? So this was obviously not just like a small pullback. But I mean, the grand scheme of the monthly chart, it wasn't bad. It was just, a little cool off before another leg to the upside. But monthly green dot still gave you a massive rip to the upside. Monthly green dot, massive leg to the upside. I mean, you could look at this from any, you could go back here and mark all these out, right? Not that you should ever just buy in a monthly green dot, but massive leg up. Massive leg up. Pretty nice leg up. Not as aggressive, but still a very nice leg up. So these monthly green dots, right, oftentimes indicate significant moves to the upside. Even the muted moves to the upside are still pretty significant. And we are just starting to print that right now. 2-day money flow crossed over into the green at the same exact time. This is a pretty bullish sign, especially approaching all-time highs. Not too bad. And that is NVIDIA. Same thing on SPY, right? Monthly, green dot printing. Look at these last monthly green dots. Boom. Still got some kind of move up. But that quickly got swallowed up by a red dot. But, I mean, you just take this, the hit rate on these is pretty dang good, right? Like even this one, not a huge move up, but you still got a significant rip to the upside. And a nice little 9%. Down here, 28%. Here, massive leg up, right? Not too bad. Not too bad. Bottom of the 2022 bear. Massive 25% move up, little cool off, wound up ending up in a 65% pump to the upside. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. It's not just Bitcoin that is starting to look pretty good. It is also other markets as well. And just understand, guys, things can change very quickly. You know, we get one bad news event or something like that. Things can change very quickly. But, you know, with the way the charts look right now, there is an argument for a push to the upside. Let's see. You guys are crazy. Yo, shout out to Getchy says freaky chat. Yeah, shout out to chat is getting pretty wild. Talking about baby oil and stuff. It's pretty insane. Baby oil up your finger and smash that like button. Shout out to Eugene Sky. Good lord. Good lord. Bada boom, bada bing. The tears are rolling down my face from laughing. Oh, God. Can we take a look at Circle? It's crypto related, but it's moved so nasty. I'm trying to find a place to add to my position. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. Let's take a look at Circle here. Yeah, massive green candle. No, I'm kidding. We're on the monthly here. I believe I'm looking at the right thing. Here. Yeah. All right, so let's take a look here. I mean, I would say it's impossible to take a look at any of these higher time frames. Like, dang, not even the daily. I can't even get any information. 16, 12-hour. Oof, a little bit harder on the higher time frames. I have to go all the way down to... Dang, I got to go down to like the 1 hour to get any kind of information here, at least on Market Cipher B. Well, one thing I can do is we could pull up the VPVR real quick. So I would say, all right, so I'm going to mark out this gap. You got a little bit of a gap right here. Break in here could be a fast drop down to about 197. But if you hold this, you know, again, it's hard because I don't have any high time frame Market Cipher B information. You know, 1 hour money flow is kind of coming out, right? But I don't even know what how significant that is because I don't know what the higher time frames look like as far as Market Cipher B goes. I would say, so I'll give you some key levels of support. I would say this level right here, 218, is absolutely key. I mean, you could wick below, but if you break in here, could be a pretty fast drop down to about, I would say, $200. 200 to about $1.96. Let me. Yeah, kind of hard to be honest. With a lack of information here, like I don't even really have any kind of profile to pull either, right? There's obviously a significant amount of volume up here. You could look at this, you know. You could look at this as some kind of a developing profile. So I would say something like that. So yeah, you are, you know, if you could reclaim this value area, I would say, yeah, if you reclaim this value area, you could look up. So local value area, if you could reclaim about 223, look up towards the point of control at about 245.25. If you're able to get above that POC, look to get into the value area high golden pocket retracement. So this is definitely the biggest level of resistance that I can see. And then biggest level of support or biggest level you don't want to lose, 217. Lose that, you could get that quick drop down. So your goal here is to reclaim, push up towards that point of control, which probably is going to be confluent. Yeah, local fib retracement. Yeah, so I would watch POC at 245.25, value area high starting at 265.45 up to the golden pocket 786 at 281.51. Right? If you want new all-time highs, I would say this is probably the doorway to your new all-time high, right? Break up, invalidate the idea of a lower high coming in by flipping that 786 and then push it into all-time highs. But I'd be careful around this is your biggest level of resistance. Take a look at your weekly MPOCs. Nothing. You have a developing POC there. You have a confirmed weekly MPOC right here. And then you got another one right down here. So hopefully you don't have to come all the way back down there. Let's check the dailies real quick. Let me check the monthly real quick. So, yeah, you got a couple of MPOCs, or one MPOC, one daily MPOC right up here. Boom. So there's your daily MPOC. So, yeah, these are definitely the levels I would look at. Kind of a hard chart to read, to be quite honest, because I can't go up to like any significant time frame. But there you go. That's what I would look at. You do not want to reject this value area low. You want to reclaim it and then push up to these larger levels of resistance. POC, value area high, Fibonacci retracement. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on Sokol. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. Hopefully that helps you out, brother. You can feel free to screenshot those levels if you want to get them on your chart. Let's see. John Doe. And he's talking about dough like money dough. Shout out to John Doe. Says, bing bong. Shout out to you, man. Welcome. And we got Mark Dutch in the chat. Said, Jesse was looking for Precious. Shout out to Mark Dutch. Let's see. Yeah, maybe people are going to get out and put profits into crypto, into the stock market. Could be the case. Could be the case. Shout out to Gibby. Said, when you shared your Bitcoin charts in the premium Discord, I used to get all your alt charts too. Is Darren does things here? Darren, if you are still in the chat, I think Darren knows how to make that happen. Because that really made my life so much easier. Because when it's so hard, like it's impossible for me to update like 100 charts every single day and then reshare the alt charts. But if I'm able, I used to be able to share the Bitcoin chart in the Discord, and then you guys would get my entire watch list, and like all the levels would be there. Shout out to Gibby. If Darren, if you are here, if you can let Gibby know how to get that to work, and if not, I will try to get in touch with him and see if we can fix that. I don't know. I don't think it's anything I do on my end. I think, like, anytime I share, I do the same thing. I think it's the way that you import it, potentially, that lets you see the watch list. Or maybe I have to share the watch list. I'm not 100% sure. But I will try to figure that out for you. Give me no problemo. Let's see. Yeah, it did 2 hundo is what I'm looking at. It's going to be a waiting game, but Circle during the bear market would be the most fire short. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. Could be. Shout out to Golden Child. Said, use interesting. I'm going to have to ask. Hang on one second. Here. I don't know if you're in chat right now, but can you figure out how I can share my alt charts in the Discord? Everyone's saying they used to get them, and now they don't. Thanks, bro. Shout out to Tony D. Hopefully Tony D will probably fix it like right this second. But thank you for that, Tony. He might be watching this. I don't even know. But let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Interesting. What the heck changed? Shout out to Johnny Skirk. We'll try to fix that. But yeah, let's continue on here. Let's see. We took a look at Link, XRP. Let's do one more altcoin. What should we do? All the chickens in the chat just makes me want to check on CLQ real quick. Oh man. Fun honorable mention there. But let's see. Oh, shout out to Crypto Pollo. Gifted those Frankie Candles memberships. Let's go, baby. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. Thank you so much for doing that, bro. Thank you. And shout out to Brandon. Shout out to Panda. Shout out to Splash Landings. Shout out to Tony. Not Tony D, but just Tony. And shout out to David for getting those memberships. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. Drop a chicken in the chat. And thank your boy for those memberships. Tony D said, check your texts. Oh, he said no. Yo, it's diabolical, bro. Hey, bro, can you just do me a favor and help me out with this? No. Just N-O, period. That's crazy. Shout out to Tony D. I was expecting a Rickrolled GIF, if I'm being honest. Let's see. Ada, Ave, Caspa. Let's see. Virtuals. All right, let's check out Ada. Let's check Aave. We check Ada almost every day. Not Ava, Aave. Let's check out Aave real quick. Okay. So actually, shout out to last time we looked at Aave. Key level of resistance, Golden Pocket 786 with the POC right in the middle. Where's the rejection come in? Right in that zone. Now, is this going to be, and to be just for what it's worth, just to give a little sauce here, higher highs into your key resistance zone. Daily bearish divergence, lower highs on your momentum waves, higher highs on price action, high probability of at least some kind of a correction, making your first key level of support the value area low. We lost the value area low, and now we're trying to reclaim. So right now, very simple. Key level of support, value area low at 252. If you lose this, I would say, let's pull up a higher time frame here real quick. Let's see here. That is the April dump. Let's come on over to the 4-hour. Pull. Yeah, I mean, I would just give this as an honorable mention support level. Overall macro, right? You need to hold this value area low. This would give you the opportunity to reapproach the POC. As always, reclaim the value area low. Next stop is the point of control. Very simple. Got the big rejection. If we stay inside here, you could potentially target the value area low. I'm sorry, the point of control once again, which does sit at about 323. We can go ahead and get rid of this. I'll just give you the local levels here. So to the, let's see here. Not really a clean range, if I'm being honest. It's kind of wonky. So your local resistance here is going to sit between the golden pocket 786, between 281.48 and 301.83. If you want to continue through this profile, hold support on the $252 value area low. This is probably your next major target. If you can break above this 786, POC is likely, and then that greatly increases the chances of filling the range in full. But you have to be careful for a lower high here, in my own personal opinion. You're probably already tapping this local fib zone as well. This is probably what we're rejecting right now. So, yeah, local golden pocket. I mean, but we'll see. You got support right underneath you. I would definitely watch your next major level of support, or resistance, rather, sitting right here between 281.48 and 301.83. Possibility of a rejection there. If you get above the 786, I would look up towards the POC at 323.19. And then on the way down, your key levels of support, in my opinion, would probably be obviously the value area low at 252. And then you also have this golden pocket 786 retracement sitting right here between 240.52 and 231.77. So if you come down and you're unable to hold that value area low, you're hoping for a bounce at this fib zone. Lose that, you're going to take the lows, in my opinion. All right? Maybe come sweep all these lows. You probably have a significant amount of liquidity sitting down here. So, yeah, that's your key level of support. If you break the value area low, until then, 252 is key. Hold that. Push up into these resistance levels. Doorway to higher prices, meaning the POC at 323.19 is going to be 300. Get the exact level there. 301.35. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on Aave. Let's see. Shout out to Lucky's Thought said Sui. We actually did take a look at Sui earlier. If you scrub back, you'll see it. We gave you all the sauce on Sui. Is Dogecoin dead? Shout out to K-Dub. I wouldn't say Dogecoin is dead. At least from a chart perspective, right? Like, is it going to get the attention it got last cycle? I don't know. I wouldn't say it's totally dead. And like the reason I say that is because if we take a look at a higher time frame, right? You know, is there a reason to think Dogecoin is dead? Well, I mean, number one, it's not like it's breaking bear market lows or anything like that. And if we just look at this, actually, let me pull this up on a blank chart real quick, right? If we take a look at the, let's hide the bull market support band, right? If we just take a look at this from a structure perspective, right? You know, the way I look at this is, well, hey, I have the bear market range. Bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong. This is a value area, right? If we break out, we want to put in a higher low and a higher high. Where do we want that higher low to come in at? Well, we probably want it to come in on a golden pocket 786, arguably this golden pocket 786. If you don't hold the golden pocket, you're hoping for the bounce at the 786. But overall, you're hoping, if you're going to put in a higher low, you're hoping it comes in on this zone. And what happens? You get the big breakout of your bear market range and then a big correction. But where do you put the higher low in at? Golden pocket 786. If you get the bounce from this level, the anticipation is a breakage structure to the upside to continue the uptrend. You get the high, you get the low, the high, the higher low, the higher high. That's a big uptrend, right? So now where do we want to get the bounce from? Well, you probably want to get the bounce from the higher low all the way to the higher high. We're losing that 786. We started to get a nice bounce here, and then we kind of just got another rejection. So is it dead? I wouldn't say it's dead. Especially because we're also kind of attacking the we're trying to get back inside this range. Let me clean this chart up because I have every single level and their grandma on the chart right now. At the end of the day, let me just hide these local levels as well. Right, like you're trying to reclaim this value area low. If you reject this value area low, we're probably going lower. And I mean, honestly, the fact that we're losing that 786 is not the best sign, right? But if you could reclaim that 786, yeah, to be honest, you kind of would have hoped that it happened here, right? And then what happens? You get a lower high. I mean, lower low could be possible here for Dogecoin. But I wouldn't say it's dead completely, right? Because all it takes is, you reclaim this value area low, you could be on your way back to the POC and back to the high. So I wouldn't say dead. I would say I don't really love, I would really, really want to get the reclaim of that 786 and value area low again. But I wouldn't say dead. I mean, listen, if we get an alt season, chances of Dogecoin pumping, in my opinion, are pretty dang high, right? Yeah, you want to hold on to this anchored VWAP as well, right? Very similar to the Fibonacci retracement, right? The anchored VWAP from the absolute low here is you're hoping to hold that as well, right? You have your low, well, kind of like low here, high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Are we going to hold that? If you hold it, you still have an opportunity. If you lose it, more downside is to come, right? But I don't see I don't see a situation where everything else rallies and then Dogecoin goes to zero. So could I be wrong? Yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't say it's dead forever. So hopefully that helps you out. Let's see. Someone help Grandma. She's trapped on Frankie's chart, and he keeps pulling his fibs. Shout out to World War. Good Lord. Anyway, Frankie said pull your fib in public. Yeah, just make sure that there's no, just make sure, I don't know. You can pull it in public. Just go into the bathroom. If you want to hit a trade, pull a fib, just go into your bathroom, pull out your phone. Like I said, I have gotten caught pulling my fib in public, and I had to run very fast. But anyway, guys, let me go ahead and check it. We'll do one more last check-in on Bitcoin here as we continue to bing bong around here at that golden pocket. So I recommend scrubbing back to the beginning of the stream if you're just tuning in for the first time here. But I will just do a quick little recap. As we tap into this golden pocket, this is your first major level of resistance. We do have some bearish divergences printing here. Could we get a pullback? Yes. Biggest key levels of support on Bitcoin. Number one, $104,000 point of control. If we lose that, the biggest level on the chart, in my opinion, to indicate that the longer-term uptrend is going to continue and the probability of the low being in, to maintain the probability of this low being the low before eventually getting a bigger breakout here. The biggest level is going to be the value area low, golden pocket, 786, right? I would, again, separate these potentially into two separate levels, value area low, golden pocket. But I'm just going to give you the bigger zone just to keep things nice and simple. 102,265 with the value area low on the top of the golden pocket, down to the 786 at 101.32. If we get a bigger pullback, either from the golden pocket and we lose the POC, this is the level you want to hold. If we lose this volume profile in this 786, losing this level opens up the door back to $97,000. And we could be in a situation where that happens, whether it comes from the golden pocket or it comes from the 786. But until we lose that level, right now, I would say putting in higher lows and higher highs could be in the cards based off of some of our money flow starting to come back into the green on the medium hourlies and the higher hourly time frames. And we're hoping that that will leak into the daily and, again, keep that 2-day money flow crossover healthily in the green for that bigger break to the upside. But I go over all this in much more detail. We haven't really seen anything, literally since we left Bitcoin and started looking at the altcoins. We literally just went sideways the entire stream. So scrub back to the beginning of the stream to get all the details on Bitcoin. But for the most part, biggest levels of support, 104K, then the value area low golden pocket 786 between $102,000 and $101,000. So with all that being said, thank you all for being, that's brilliant. Shout out to James Ager. I don't know if you are saying that to me or not, but shout out to you. Shout out to K Diggity. Phoebe Holdney. Shout out to K Diggity. Let's go. Shout out to James. Shout out to Jack. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. All set. Jesse. Short Film Tony. Shout out to Short Film Tony. Paul. Shout out to World War. Shout out to Mark Dutch. Shout out to Wick's wife and Wick 589. Crypto Aries. Base Bailey. Everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate every single one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. And with all that being said, that's all the time we got for today's live stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time, right here, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Space shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Shout out to Gen Z. Gen Z says, where'd it go? Where'd it go? He said, where'd it go? He said, oh, XRP, Solana, ETH. Which one? Marry, kill, sneaky link. Shout out to Gen Z. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. I'm gonna kill ETH. I'm gonna kill ETH. Right, it's highest on the market cap. So it's like, you know, I'll just stay. Yeah. So ETH. And then I'm gonna go marry Solana, XRP, sneaky link. That's all the time I got for today's live stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. You know the rest. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor.